Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome. You're joining me on my balcony today. Balcony in Egypt, actually. So I usually do these live streams every single Wednesday. Last Wednesday, I did not do a live stream because I was traveling to where? To Egypt. And as you can hear, my voice is not really where it used to be. I've been dealing with like a horse, I've been not really sick, but something. And I think that when you travel somewhere and when you allow your body to just go into full relaxation mode, your body's like, okay, now we can rest. And your body just opens up. And a lot of people usually get sick during the relaxation mode. And this is what I want to talk to you about today, about how we constantly can be in those moments of total non-relaxation, even though we think that we're implementing relaxation into our daily routines, taking it a little bit more easy during the weekends. And then all of a sudden you go on vacation. You've been working your booty off for the whole entire year and you're like, yes, vacation. And you go on vacation and what happens? You get sick. So that's usually an indicator from the body saying that, hey, whenever you thought that you were actually resting, you are not resting. You're still in that on-the-go mode. So let's talk about this for a second. How can you incorporate more self-care into your daily routines? How can you go from your body being in fight mode to your body being in relaxation mode, even in your everyday routines? Now, this is the trick. A lot of people are going to like, okay, I know what you're going to say. Number one is sleep. Actually, number one is sleep. It's like the easiest self-care routine that you can do for yourself. And there's a study now showing that we females, we need to sleep more than men. You know, the old myth that it's enough for us to sleep between 6 to 8 hours a night. Well, I'm here to tell you that the latest studies are actually showing that those studies that says that it's 6 to 8 hours, those studies are made on male bodies. So how many hours does a woman need to sleep? Well, actually, it's somewhere between 8 and 12. Yeah, you heard me, 8 and 12. And I know that there are so many young moms that are sleeping maybe only like 4 or 5 hours, or maybe you're this hardcore working woman that stays up until like 1 a.m. to have your self-care time or your self time because you put the kids to bed and then you finally have time for yourself to relax and you end up sitting watching Netflix, or you're on your phone, or you're social media scrolling, or you're just lying there with a good book, right, until 1 a.m. in the morning. So the latest study here is if you don't go to sleep in the hour window between 22, that means 10 p.m. up until 11 p.m., you're missing your natural sleep rhythm cycle. So when should you go to bed? When should you sleep? Well, preferably somewhere between 11 p.m. and midnight. That is the optimum hour for you to get your natural sleeping cycle. So you should definitely be in bed by 10, winding down. And if you can fall asleep before 11 p.m., then your body will get more of the sleep that it actually needs. So let me tell you why it's so important for us women to be able to sleep between 8 to 12 hours per night. When we sleep less, our body goes into high stress mode. It goes into high alert. So our cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone, it goes higher. And what happens when that stress hormone goes up? We gain weight, not that good type of weight, but that weight that is really, really dangerous for our inner organs, right? So we gain weight. So it doesn't matter if you have a good exercise regime, if you're eating healthy, if you're not sleeping enough, and if you're not going to bed early enough, you're not going to shed that weight because your body is in high stress mode. This is why so many women have a hard time with losing weight when they go into their 35 plus years, because these are the years when we go into perimenopause and then later on we go into the menopause state. So if we are in our 20s or our early 30s, a good chance is that the body is relying on our youth, right? And the body has a faster way of recalibrating, regenerating, and allowing us to still function on high speed mode. But what is happening is that you're basically working on borrowed time, or rather borrowed energy, because that body will want that energy back. And what happens when you go into your perimenopause state? Well, then the weight starts coming on. You know that tire that you get around your waist, right? That's one thing. And I'm not talking about you having a six-pack or anything. I'm talking about you all of a sudden gaining a lot of weight that is not natural for your body to have. So let's not let's talk about a healthy body versus a body that is in a high cortisol state, high alert state. Brain fog, you're constantly tired, you're overthinking, you can't seem to get things done, you keep forgetting things, no matter how healthy you eat or how many good things you put into your body, whether it's vitamins or minerals or anything, you cannot get that same energy back that you used to have when you were 20 to 30 years young. So what does that mean for us? Is that it? Like, are we supposed to okay, now I'm getting old, this is natural for us? No. Energy is a state that's natural for the human body. We need to learn to adapt to our age, yes, 100%, but in order for us to adapt to that energy state that is the state of our age, we need to follow the rules of aging as well. And number one, it doesn't matter if you're 20 years, 30 years, 40, 50, 60, 70 years young, you need to sleep somewhere between 8 to 12 hours a night. And if you look at the menstrual cycle, if you are still menstruating, then you will feel that you have more energy during your ovulation state, right? And then when you are bleeding, you have less energy. And maybe you're finding that you're a little bit more tired when you're bleeding, right? So what should you do? Should you go against your body? And like, you know what? I'm just a mini man, like the world sets me out to be. I need to prove myself, even I'm a woman, I need to go against what's natural for me. No, you need to listen to your body, right? Because again, that will come and bite you in the tushy later on if you don't do it now. I actually wish when I was younger that I had a woman in my social cycle that would teach me all of these things. Because when I went into perimenopause, especially this started to happen between the years when I turned 40, between 40 to 43, and I'm 43 now, and now finally I'm starting to get my hormonal balance in check. So what's starting to happen is I started to gain weight all of a sudden. I started to get so tired. I didn't have any energy, constant brain fog, and I'm like, okay, what the heck is this? I'm exercising, I'm eating naturally, I'm eating normally, and I'm still like going like crazy. What is this? And then I started to educate myself. I started to follow women on social media because let's be perfectly honest. Women are educating women right now in this day and age. And back in the days, we were just supposed to be like many men, functioning like a man. Again, let me remind you that 90% of the studies that are made on the body, the human body, are made on male bodies. That doesn't make any sense, does it? Not for us women, because we are not men, right? We have a different physiology. We have a menstrual cycle. So you're basically 4 people in 1 month. Yes, because you have different types of energies. Every week is a different energetic week for you in your menstrual cycle. We have a menstrual cycle that is 28 days long. For men, it's 24 hours, right? And then they reset. Every 24 hours, they reset. But we have 28 days. Our bodies are made differently. And why is that? Because the female body is a body that is made to carry life in the future. And in order for us to carry life in the future and to be able to nourish, then our bodies need to function a little bit differently. What does that mean? Does that mean that you're only like a life-giving machine? No, you're not. But we need to look at the physiology of our bodies. So why do we keep going against what's natural to us? Why do we keep going against the cycles that are natural to us? Well, that's because society has indoctrinated us into this. There hasn't been enough understanding of how women function until like recently. Do you know that all of the female hygienic products there are linked to the menstrual cycle? Do you know that up until 2023, they were not using real blood to test them? So tampons, pads, menstrual cups, everything, right? They use some type of fluid, to mimic the blood. But let's be honest, blood is different than any type of fluid there is out there. So why are these hygienic products not functioning? Because they're made by men. They don't really understand. And now recently in 2023, things started to change. My friends, that's 1 year ago. 1 year ago, right? So what does that say about us women? We are misunderstood. So how can we do better? How can we do better for ourselves? Self-care is the key. You're not supposed to be this productivity, non-stop machine that's on the go. Listen to your body, listen to your cycles, tap into what is natural to you. And another thing, when we're talking about cycles right now, also listen to that cycle that is the seasonal cycle. This is both for men and women, actually. When it's winter time, what is winter? What is winter for nature? It's a time for rest, rejuvenation, recovery. What is it in spring? It's a time of awakening, right? What is summer? Summer is that energetic flow. What is autumn? Autumn is the time to go down, to go into relaxation, to quiet down, to prepare yourself for winter, right? And our bodies are connected to the cyclical nature of the planet. So why do we keep going against it? So what do you think happens when we women not only go against our menstrual cycle, but we also go against our seasonal cycles, and then also we go against the circadian rhythm cycle. So circadian rhythm is the rhythm of the sun and the moon. So whenever the sun comes up, this is the time for us to wake up. Whenever the sun goes down, this is the time for us to wind down. But what do we keep doing? Well, a lot of people keep sleeping for half the day and then they become super productive. But I'm a night owl. No, that's because you've forced your body to be a night owl. That's because in your mind, you've made it out to be that you're more productive in the night. But what is actually natural for your body is to wake up in the morning and start your day from there and be productive somewhere between 9 a.m. up until 12 a.m. before the sun is at its highest state. That is where our productivity is the highest, believe it or not. Yeah. And then it slowly but surely goes down. And when the sun sets, we also should be going down in productivity, going into relax mode. So what can we learn from this? What can we learn from this crazy talk that Monica just had right now? We need to allow our bodies to rest with the natural cycles of what is inherently ours. Follow your menstrual cycle. Follow the seasonal cycles. Follow the circadian cycles. That is your step to self-care. Now, this whole topic brought you back to the first thing that I started to talk about, sleep. Because when we women don't get enough sleep, we are on high stress mode, we are on high alert. And what do you think happens when we finally get to rest? We become sick. Our body's like, oh my gosh, finally I can rest. Let me just open up and be open to all of the bacteria and viruses, because now finally I have the chance to take care of it. And I actually have the ultimate proof for this. During the last 4 months, I was in Sweden taking care of my mom that is sick in cancer. I was on constant high alert mode. High alert mode. Yes, I tried to do self-care. Yes, I tried to take time for myself. Yes, I tried to sleep, but it doesn't matter. When you are a caregiver, you are in high alert mode, right? You're not in resting mode. And what happened when I came to Egypt now? Well, everyone around me was sick. So of course, I'm going to pick up something. And I allowed myself to completely rest. We took 1 week off just to completely rest. And what happens? Boom, everything just happens to me, right? But what did I do? I slept. Yesterday, I was in sleeping mode. I was in relaxation mode. I was lying down basically almost the whole day, allowing my body to rest. And now the only thing that's left is this, yeah, the voice. But I feel good overall. I feel rejuvenated. I feel recharged. And that's the purpose, right, of us being able to do this. So don't live your life on borrowed energy and on borrowed time. Try to stick with those small things that can actually help you flourish and blossom throughout your daily life. Sleep, my friends, sleep. That is super important. Remember, we women, oh, the breeze in my hair. Mary says, I love it. Thank you. Yes. So the light is a little bit different because I'm sitting on the balcony. Maybe you're hearing the birds chirping, but I'm like, I said to Arkadiy, my partner, and I'm like, I'm going to go live. I need to go live in the group. And I'm like inspired now to talk about this, what happened to me. Yes, but what I wanted to say is the high alert mode. The high alert mode of being a caregiver. I think a lot of young mothers can also relate to that. When you give birth the first year, you are a constant caregiver, right? And then things start to ease up a little bit, right? But a lot of young mothers, they don't sleep enough. And that's number one. You should be sleeping. Yeah, it's easier to said than done when you have a little baby to take care of. Yes, but that's why you're two people in a relationship. So you should be helping each other out, right? So you get enough rest. I mean, you were carrying a baby for 9 months, right? Your body was changing completely. And now you are this amazing nourishing machine, this milk machine, right? That is nourishing your baby so it can grow up and be healthy. But in order for that baby to grow up and be healthy, you need to take care of yourself. You need to take care of your body. And a lot of mothers don't get the chance to do that. And that's also how the whole system is made, right? I know that in the US, for example, I think that you only have like 2 weeks off on maternity leave, if I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't it like 2 weeks or something, or 3 weeks? In Sweden, people get one year. The woman gets 1 year. And then on top of that, the man in the relationship also gets 1 year to be a caregiver. So basically the woman can be a stay-at-home mom for 1 year. And then the year after, the father can do it, or they do it together during 1 year, right? And it's a beautiful system. There are many things I don't like in Sweden, but that system, I highly approve of it, because what it does, it gives the woman and the man a possibility to connect with the child that they brought into the world, and a possibility also to take care of themselves, right? So they can bring up this new little person into the world. All right, now I'm spinning off a completely different topic. But so let's bring it all back together. Follow the seasonal cycles of the planet. Follow the circadian rhythm, so the sun and moon rhythm. Follow your menstrual cycle and sleep. My friends, you're not a warrior for only sleeping 4 hours. What you're doing is you are slowly but surely borrowing energy from your body, and it's going to come and bite you in the tushy later on, whether it's going to be through a disease, whether it's going to be through an injury, whether it's going to be through something happening to age you much faster. So what you're doing is you're living on borrowed energy. Don't do that to yourself. Your body will come back screaming and shouting at you to finally listen. So start listening to your body, start tapping in. And remember, we women need to sleep somewhere between 8 to 12 hours. That's the latest study. That is the latest study. Women need to sleep more than men. So allow yourself, and especially during your bleeding period, sleep more. All right, friends. I think that's it for today. If you have any questions, write them down in the comments. I'll come back, I'll answer them. Let me know what you would love for me to talk about during the next week's live stream, if there's a topic that you would love, right? So let me just go through the comments before I quit, I turn off. Mariana, you didn't know that, yeah, about the hygienic products, right? In 2023. Mary, yes, sleep, she says. It's so good to see you, really, honestly, truly. Oh, thank you. And Betty says, I live on the equator. It's summer all year. How do I deal with that? That's a good question, Betty, because my sister lives in Australia. And even though, and like here in Egypt, right, majority of the time, this is also very close to the equator, and especially if you're living on the equator, you still have seasonal changes, like small seasonal changes. Like right now in Egypt, it is spring, right? And even though this spring of Egypt reminds me of Swedish summer, it is still spring for Egypt, because it's going to get much, much hotter during the summer. And what they do in Australia, they do it the other way around, right? When we have summer, they have winter. When we have winter, they have summer. I'm talking about us in Sweden and also here in Egypt, for example. So what do? They follow their seasonal. And on the equator, even though you feel like you have constant summer, you still have those small changes in the seasons. Like, for example, maybe you have a period where you have more fruit during one time, maybe you have more rain during one time. So you need to learn about the seasonal changes in the place that you're living in. So I would suggest highly to tap into some knowledge, right? So equip yourself with the knowledge and tools of what the seasonal changes are for you at the equator. Because even though it feels like you're living in constant summer, everywhere in the world you have seasonal changes. Even at Antarctica, you have seasonal changes. Even though they have constant snow, there are times of the year they have more snow and less snow. So yeah, so that's what you need to do. Right. Mary's saying, it's so interesting, the topic today. I have slept 4 hours. Okay, Mary. So now you know what to do, right? You need to prioritize your sleep. Remember these words. If you keep sleeping less than 8 hours, you are living on borrowed energy. And that energy is going to come biting you in the tushy one day saying, hey, you borrowed, I want something back. So now here you go, here's an injury, or here you go, here's a disease. Yeah, remember that. You're living on borrowed time, whatever it is. Your body is going to want to claim that back. So instead of living on something borrowed, try to living in sync with your body. Yes, beautiful. Thank you, friends. And again, if you have any questions, if you want me to talk about a special topic for next week, write it in the comments. You know, I'm here to cater to your needs. I'm here to help us learn and grow. And I'm such a nerd when it comes to all of these studies, and especially what happens in the female body, because I was tired. I was tired of doctors wanting to prescribe me pills, you know, that just made me even more sick and made me feel even more like I'm not being myself. And I'm like, no, enough. So what I did, I equipped myself with knowledge. I started to follow women that were speaking through their experience. I started to read up what happens in the body when you go into perimenopause and menopause. I started to go for the latest studies on the female body, and this is how I came across actually that super important study that we women are so misunderstood, especially in the medical world. Like 90% of all of the studies are made on male bodies. Because why? Female bodies are unpredictable because we're in constant change. Well, I'm sorry. No shit, Sherlock. Pardon my language, but that's how it is. And I think that that's the beauty of it. All right, good. I'm happy, Mary, that you're going to take action on it. Friends, thank you so much for today. I'll see you next week. Ciao for now. Bye, friends. Bye.